All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take one single, very peculiar political moment and just completely deconstruct it. We're digging into a sharp piece of analysis that tries to figure out what was really going on when a major politician gave a speech while chewing gum.
And that question, right there, is at the heart of everything we're about to explore. We're going to see how one tiny, seemingly random physical tick can, according to our source material, tell you way more about a movement's real goals than the entire prepared speech ever could.
Okay, let's dive right in. The date you need to remember is April 12, 2026. We're at the historic Club Filipino, and the event is the big launch of a brand new political coalition called RAGE.
So picture this. You've got the mayor of Davao City, Baste Duterte, up on stage. He's talking about really serious stuff. Corruption, oil prices, big national reforms. But according to the source we're looking at, one little detail just stole the entire show. He was chewing gum. And not just for a second. We're talking constantly, right? Through the whole thing.
And that right there is the central puzzle. You know, at a formal political launch, in a place loaded with history, while you're talking about the fate of the nation, why would you be chewing gum? It's a weird choice, right? And our source material sets out to solve exactly that.
Now, this is where the analysis starts to get really interesting. The first layer it peels back isn't really about politics at all. It's personal, it's psychological, and it all starts with his father.
And this slide just lays it out so clearly. You've got a tale of two chewers. On one hand, his father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, was famous for chewing gum. But it was widely known that was for a medical reason, to manage pain. But on the other hand, for Baste, the source points out there's no known medical reason at all.
And the source gives this a brilliant name, political cosplay. I mean, think about it. The idea is that you take on a parent's most famous, most recognizable trait, almost like a costume. It's a kind of shortcut to inheriting the authority and the image they worked so hard to build. And this quote from the op-ed just hits the nail on the head. The argument here is that the gum chewing is not some random habit. It's a performance. It's a visual cue meant to scream to his father's base, hey, I'm just like him. You can trust me just like you trusted him. It's basically identity by association.
Okay, so that's the psychological angle. But the analysis doesn't stop there. Now let's zoom out from the personal and get into the politics of it all, specifically the timing. Because the question is, why hold this big rally on this exact day?
Okay, you really have to pay attention to the calendar here. According to the source, the timing is everything. This big rally, this show of force, was held on a Sunday. And just 2 days later, on Tuesday, a key witness, a self-confessed bagman, was scheduled to testify in the impeachment proceedings against his sister, the vice president.
So a coincidence? The analysis says no way. It calls this a classic case of grandstanding. The point wasn't to actually push for reform. The point was to stage a big performance of toughness, to create this powerful visual of mass support right before some potentially very damaging testimony was about to hit the news.
So we got the person, we've got the timing, now let's talk about the place. Because the choice of venue, Club Filipino, oh man, it is just dripping with historical irony here in the Philippines.
For anyone who might not know, Club Filipino isn't just some random event hall. It is a huge deal in Philippine history. It's the exact spot where the People Power Revolution hit its peak in 1986. It's where Cory Aquino took her oath, ending a 2-decade-long presidency. It's a symbol of democracy and holding power to account.
So think about what Club Filipino stood for back then. The source describes that 1986 event perfectly. It was a movement born from the people to demand accountability from their leader.
Now, fast forward to 2026. Same building. But the analysis argues it's for the complete opposite reason. This time, it's a movement designed to help a leader resist accountability. It is a total flip, a complete inversion of what that building stands for.
And if you needed any more proof of what this event was really about, the source points to the music. The grand finale song wasn't the national anthem, it wasn't some patriotic tune, it was a song that translates to "The Philippines is still for Duterte," basically a family slogan, and that, the source suggests, tells you exactly where the real focus was.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together now. You have the borrowed habit, the very calculated timing, and the historically ironic venue. What's the big picture here? Well, the source synthesizes it all into one very powerful conclusion. And this table just lays it all out. The analysis argues that when you really break it down,
Every single key element of this new movement is actually borrowed from somewhere else. The habit is borrowed from his dad, the politics are borrowed from a family feud, the venue is borrowed from a democratic revolution, and even the slogan is borrowed from their rivals.
And that brings us to the big takeaway from the op-ed. The bottom line is this. The Rage Coalition, it argues, was never really about national reform. It was a defense operation. It was a show put on to protect a political family that was feeling the heat. And that constant, empty chewing? Well, the piece argues it's the perfect metaphor for the whole thing. All performance, no substance.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought, a question that kind of wraps this whole thing up and applies it to everything. What should you take away from this? Well, maybe it's a new lens for watching politics. It's a reminder to always ask, beyond the speeches, beyond the press releases, what is the performance telling us that the words never will?